Your love is smooth, Tennessee whiskey. Like Tennessee whiskey. Your love is sweet, like strawberry wine. Love, like something candy. And you took me back from the bottle. I guess so. Oh, your love is smooth. Oh, my. Shout out to Jamal Roberts. What's up, y'all? I just finished running about 15 minutes ago. Still kind of cool off. And it's a beautiful breeze out here. Lord have mercy. Whew. Y'all know I have to keep running to get my nerves back in balance because y'all not going to get on my last ones with this nonsense. And I'm not going to make this a long video. I just want to get in on the conversation. And still, of course, all day today, you know, I'm poking my head on the social media as I was seeing clients. Between these clients, I'd poke my head in to see what you're talking about. And there's a lot of outpour of support and well wishes and condolences to as a result of the Jamal Warner passing. And a lot of cool stuff is being said, of course. And I think what I really liked was to hear Dr. Cosby speak, because I hadn't heard from him in a while, and I'm glad that he's been included as it relates to getting interviews with the varying news outlets are contacting him to get his perspective on it. I'm glad, you know, that they're calling Dr. Cosby. Some people, of course, some comments. Why they calling him? That was his man's. Malcolm Jamal Warner really loved and really respected Dr. Cosby, and Dr. Cosby thought of him as a son. So yeah, of course, and he worked with the man for 8 years, from a little kid up to a young adult. So why not? People are just so stupid. And speaking of stupid, there's something that people have been kind of clamoring for about 20 years or so. Probably longer than that. Who killed Dr. King? We want to know the truth. And you know, whenever they seal the files, what's up about B Mario? They always seal the files for 50 years. And all of America, especially Black America, even his children, want to know, hey, release the files. Want to know what happened to Dr. King, and who were part of the conspiracy, who really unalived Dr. King, right? I'll tell you, I just try to keep stuff simple. I don't get caught up in the nonsense. And so, and you know, hey, of course, I'm with y'all. Very convenient, President Trump. You know, Epstein files. We want to see the Epstein files, okay? You know, first he went back on it, then he released some, him and got Pam Bundy to release some transcripts of the jury trial and all of that. He may eventually do it, but it was very convenient that he decided to just get Pam Bundy to release all the information, at least 200 and some thousand pages on the MLK file, right? And as soon as he did that, distraction, all up and down social media. No, what about the Epstein file? Forget that. What about the Epstein file? We want to know. What about the Epstein files? All right, come on, y'all. We've been clamoring, did y'all hear me? For 40 years, 50 years. The Black community especially, we want to know who took out this wonderful leader, who were a part of it. And so, yeah, this is a hell of a time for him to try to be slick and bring it out now. But the point is, right, they're released. Well, not all, but enough for you to get an understanding. But people are like, nah, it's almost like people say, you can keep those MLK files. Damn it, we want to know about that Epstein Island, who all the perverts is messing with them young girls. And I had to sit back. So I have to process stuff when I see it. I just can't react. I don't react right away. I have to process stuff. So, okay, this is something that's way more important to us and America, really. But to us as black folks, who took this man out? Because he wanted, as civil rights folks, integrationist blacks would say, he just wanted to make the world better for everybody. He wanted, civil rights for everyone, equal rights under protection of the law for everybody. So who would want to take him out for that, huh? But no. Instead of just like being focused, you're getting what we're getting what we really wanted. We want to know that we want the files to be uncovered. No, we want to know. That's because let me tell you something. Kwame Brown said on his podcast starting about 3 years ago when he first came on social media, he says it's all about who we like. And the Trump derangement syndrome is so deep that y'all ignore something that's actually really important to us, like what's in those files. Just so y'all can clamor away at Trump as the person. It's weird. There are a lot of things to be said about him, but when information is flowing your way, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to give y'all an example. Or how allowing a barrier to stop you from reaching your goal. Let's say those folks who were during the days of segregation, legalized segregation, those black people, and they were entering these all-white high schools. Shout out to Little Rock High School in Arkansas. They were doing all of these things, and they were taking all of the nonsense to try to get that high school diploma from this all-white school, or going to Harvard and Yale, these schools that didn't allow blacks. And every time I hear a story about those black folks who did all those things, they said, well, I don't care what they threw at me. My end goal was to get that degree and prove to them that I am just as smart. I am just as capable. So I'm going to bring it to this. They've done everything in their power, at least have waited the whole 50 years to release those damn FBI files. Because of who the president is, we're saying, nah, I don't want them anymore. I want these files over here. Because these are the ones he don't want to release. Can't make this shit up. And yeah. Let me run something else by y'all black folks. See, when the stuff first started coming out and people were talking about it, did y'all hear the reports or the people in the news? They were saying, well, because this was said either by their girlfriend, Micheline or Micheline or Dangalang, whatever the fuck her name is, his girlfriend. She said during those interviews as they were arresting her, it was her or someone else connected to it, said this. No, they weren't trafficking little Jewish girls. They said, no, we don't want any Jewish girls. And they certainly didn't want any black girls on that little island, right? So they were getting, and I'm going to stop right there. So I want to know, black folks, why the hell do y'all care so much about it? You hear what I said? Epstein Jewish, the girlfriend Jewish. They wasn't doing that. They wasn't trafficking Jewish girls. They wasn't bringing little black girls to the island. They were bringing other girls. And I can see why other folks want to see it. But see, let me go back to the MLK files. All of a sudden the family is like, reportedly people are against it or against the wishes of the family. But you know what? If Dexter King was here, if Yolanda King was still here, they want those damn files. So what is it about the files? Come on, somebody. I'm about to go there. Oh, glory. What is it about now about the MLK files that now black folks don't want them released? Anyway, what's up, my man? What is it about the files now that black folks don't want the MLK file? The family members. Did y'all hear what I said? If Dexter King were alive, if Yolanda were alive, they'd want those. They'd want those MLK files read. They want them released. And so a lot of you probably, and then a lot of you say, well, we don't want the files to tarnish his legacy. If his legacy is already cemented, there's nothing that can be said about him that should sway you about his work, right? Because we already talked about him. You know, with the having mohos and different area codes than Ludacris. Remember? We already talked about that. But see, here's the thing. See, if those files come out to prove what Steve Coakley was talking about, all these black Greeks and black gays and these preachers that work with the FBI and others to bring him down, y'all don't want those names revealed, do you? Black folks don't care about the files. They just want to have this BS to talk about, of course. But what I'm saying is, are y'all afraid that some of y'all favorite so-called civil rights icons will be named as traitors to Dr. King when he stopped talking about integration and assimilation and access to white sex and white positions under white supremacy? You know who y'all favorite civil rights leaders who all got to have, you know, stuff named after them, and they got to live to be 80 years old and all this kind of stuff that y'all worship in the Democratic Party? I think that's what's going on. Those FBI files, like Malcolm X said, and do y'all remember in those recordings when the CIA had Malcolm X in the room, he was talking, Malcolm X never gave in, and they said to Malcolm, "Hey Malcolm, why don't you take this money? A lot of your civil rights leaders, they're working with us. They accepted the money." And Malcolm like, I ain't on that kind of time. I'm not that kind of dude. I'm about my people. I think that's what's going on now, because if they release the files, a lot of y'all civil rights leaders gonna be named, and then y'all gonna be shaking your head back and forth to probably lose y'all damn mind to find out that the very people that y'all worship today as civil rights icons, you're gonna find out that they were bootlicks and sellouts, because Dr. King, in order for you to get him, it had to be people around him to get him. Your own friends are the ones who will get close enough to get you. Y'all know the names. Y'all put the names in the chat, so I'm talking about all these old civil rights Negroes that's living out the murder of Dr. King. She said Black History Month over with, so they over with it too. So Dwayne Carter said, "Come on, Jesse, Ralph Abernathy." You talking about Ralph Abernathy, Ralph? Jesse Jackson? Keep going, Andrew Young. There's a lot of them in Memphis. No more book reports. Yeah. Dwayne, you tripping. Dwayne, stay on, because I want you to go on live when I get through with this, and let's talk about it. I'm going to want you to come in and just have this real conversation. But, so, again, I don't mind y'all wanting the files for the Epstein files, but I want to know, in the Epstein files, all right, when y'all learn the names of that, is that going to help black folks become unified now? They're gonna have is that gonna have black folks to finally send their black kids to HBCUs? Are we gonna start unifying, start dating, and up the marriage rate in black women and black men? Well, black men already marry black women at 86%, but sisters, is that gonna help y'all get y'all marriage rate from 29% up to maybe 55%? I'm trying to see in the Epstein files. What good is that gonna do for us? I think y'all want to know that just for the gossip of it all. I think it's for the gossip. Because, again, I don't mind the names coming out and all that. But, see, our scholars have already talked about this. Our scholars, if y'all paid attention to the African Center scholars, they talked about the Trilateral Commission. They already talked about these folks, these hidden hands that control the world. They talked about in their lectures. Rest in peace, Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm sorry, not Dr. Claude, but Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Francis Cress Wellesley, Brother Neely Fuller, Dr. Ben Yakahanan. You know, our scholars have already, George Jackson. They already talked about it, but y'all won't read what the scholars already wrote. So why? The Epstein files already talked. Epstein files don't really have no bearing on us improving our race in this country. So that's all. That's what I want to say about it. Why? I like to see them both, but I thought we were more concerned about what's in the FBI, the MLK FBI files that's been recently released. But y'all so mad at Trump that you're not even keep your eyes on the prize. That's weird. Trump derangement syndrome should be in the next DSM, not the 5, but be added to the DSM-6 in about 10 years. Trump derangement syndrome should be an actual mental illness. Because this shit is crazy. It is. It's insane. And I'm not upset that about y'all wanting Epstein files. Of course not. But I'm saying, but why all of a sudden now you're backing up off the FBI? I mean, the MLK files. And I guess the JFK files coming out. I'm sure the family is not going to say, we don't want those files released. They're not. So that people love to play games with us, and we play games with ourselves. We're going to have to come out of this political party think. You know, this whole democratic mindset is crazy. But anyway, y'all, I just came on tonight to put some on your mind. You know, is finding out the Epstein files, which they should be released in its entirety. I'm not saying against that, so don't y'all say, look here, me, I want those files. I do. But I'm questioning our behavior. I'm asking a question. How are y'all's fervor? So y'all so busy trying to make Trump look bad that you saying F the MLK files? And a lot of y'all want the files released everywhere, but you're not gonna read them. Y'all gonna want, just like the what's that shit that came out, that Project 25, 994 pages. The average American, let alone the average Negro, didn't read past the table of contents. You're gonna want the secrets and the gossip of the Epstein files interpreted to you. You're not gonna read them. You're not gonna read them. Just like in the FBI files, MLK files, you're not going to read those either. We don't just read like that. You want people to interpret stuff to you. But you really want the gossip of the Epstein files. The MLK files mean you got to really put on your glasses over your nose and go through and read. And I think a lot of us don't want our feelings hurt when we find out that all these black leaders that y'all call black civil rights leaders, y'all going to realize that with the brothers and sisters who told the truth about the black sellouts and the civil rights movements, and during that era, they were all apart. From Atlanta to Memphis to Chicago, they were all a part of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. All because he went against the agenda of integration, assimilation, and LGBT. Because that was going on back then. I can't ever remember his name. Because he was Dr. King's main advisor that told him not to, if he's a security guard, not to carry a gun. What was his name? The Obamas did a movie about him. Well, the guy Domingo played him, and in the movie, a Netflix movie, he was getting his cheeks clapped by a white man. Oh, and he was a member of American Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated. What was that guy who was always around Dr. King? Come on, somebody in the chat. What's his name? Who was around Dr. King? He was like his first aide. And in the movie, he called, what's the name of the movie? The movies that the Obamas produced with Netflix had his name. He was also charged with lewd and lascivious acts in the backseat of a car in 1957, between 1957 and 59. He was in the backseat of a car with two white men. It was tossing his salad. In 1957, they were in the park, and he got arrested. What's his name? Somebody. Bayard Rustin. That was his name. Yeah, Rustin. Bayard Rustin. He was Dr. King's top aide advisor and flaming homosexual. It takes the videos and the lectures of Brother Steve Coakley talk to you about him. And as soon as Dr. King was assassinated in 1968, not too long after that, Bayard Rustin led the charge. Because see, this is what this was all about anyway, LGBT stuff. To replace, he said, and go find, it's on YouTube. Bayard Rustin leads it was the Grand Marshal of one of the first LGBT Pride Parade in 1972. And it's an interview. He said, it's not about civil rights anymore. It's about gay rights. These people use black people's bodies to push gay rights. They never gave a shit about civil rights. Did y'all hear what I said? Because let you know there was bullshit, because we don't even benefit from civil rights. Just other people do. But I don't know what I'm talking about. Black gays, black Greeks, and black religious folks. Those are the people. They didn't want human rights because Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, These folks talked about independence and self-determination, having our own everything. These three groups of blacks, they wanted integration because they wanted access to positions in captivity, and they wanted access to white sex or gay sex or interracial sex. Shout out to Brother Steve Coakley. And Bayard Rustin, as soon as Dr. King it was over, his ass went right to work on gay stuff. Because he was a flaming homosexual. Come on, somebody. Dwayne, you want to come in? I'm going to call you in, man, if you want to talk about it. I got a minute. If you open, just say yes or no. There's a green button or a button that sends you in, or I can send you an invite if you want to talk about it. Anybody else want to talk about it? I'm here, but you can kick it off, Dwayne, if anybody else want to get in on this. Hold on, let me see, bro. Let me see if you're in there. Guest request. Okay, there you go, right there. Boom. Approve. Oh, all right. Let me get up. Love it smooth. There he is.
What's up, my man?
Let me just say this. Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigo?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo te sientes, hermano?
Bien.
What's happening, man?
Look here. Negro, por favor. Don't start. How you say don't start that shit in Spanish?
Man, you cooking tonight, bro. They ain't hearing you, man. But I'm
I'm
glad it's
over
like,
it, bro. I said, let me go ahead and get in on this. So what's your take on it, brother?
where do we begin? Because, we had a conversation a little earlier about everything. I think the conversation I had about the post that I made,
Mm-hmm.
how can I frame this? Um, I guess what's important to note is that people need to realize that the declassified FBI files prove beyond doubt that the government was definitely implicit in infiltrating and sabotaging Dr. King's movement,
Yes.
right? But they utilized people that were close to him. I guess the crucial thing is they have to realize that a lot of these agencies, so like anytime we watch a movie or anytime we see stuff that occurs in the neighborhood, they always have to have insider information.
Mm-hmm.
I always have to have informants. So who would these
Yeah.
informants have been? They weren't just random white men, they were his friends. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the reason why a lot of people are not paying attention to it or refuse to pay attention to the files that are being released or maybe not interested in it, is because it's going to totally knock their legs away from up under them, man. And
Yeah.
that's why I was joking earlier and I said, look, it ain't going to be no more book reports. It ain't going to be no more Black History Month because all of these people that we write about that seem so great are not that great.
No, they weren't worth a damn damn, but it was emotional back then, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
people just have to be honest. I need people to be honest about that, but they won't.
right. And then the other thing too is the fact that you tied in Bayard Rustin into this is, I mean, it's all a part of that Democratic agenda. They always bring in that homosexuality piece, and it's just amazing. So it's especially in light of what former President Barack Obama has been like preaching from the mountaintop lately has just been crushing. I'm like, what, bro? So you mean to tell me a heterosexual man married to a seemingly heterosexual woman with two daughters that are supposedly his, we're talking about how important it is for straight black males to have relationships with homosexual men.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Gay men can teach black boys how to empathetic and empathy and emotional intelligence. Man, please get out of here
So,
with
at
that
what point did
nonsense.
gay people become the cornerstone for teaching empathy and sympathy and sensitivity to straight people?
Such an insult.
Yeah, it's such an insult, but I mean, he's been doing it over the past year or so anyway, the past couple of years. And really, man, it's just like people they don't really care about what black men think. They don't care about what black men stand for. It's just we just supposed to do what everybody else tell us to do, and regardless of what we tell them, they still don't listen.
Nope.
So there's that piece of it too as well. Every time there's an event for us, it has to be framed in a certain light. Like we just some non-participating, broke down, lowly, depressed, disgusted Negroes that can't help ourselves, and we need somebody to come in and just help us get our lives together.
Mm-hmm. No, in other words, we're just a non-mother loving factor.
Yeah.
in the language. And so, yeah, and and I always try to do on all my social media platforms to try to encourage men. It's okay to be a man, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, just generally speaking, and a lot of guys have said, you know what, man, I ain't finna get involved in all that. And I understand that people just like, nah, I ain't want to be a part of that. Then when stuff start popping up, we're around here looking crazy,
Yeah.
and we don't understand now heterosexual, masculine, free thinking men, we're going to have to start doing stuff for ourselves. We can no longer think that anybody else is going to come to the rescue of, as Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, Malcolm X has always said, the black man.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have been, a lot of us, too many in our group have been, in our community of men, have been so beaten down and battered down it and just afraid to open our mouths on a larger scale. It's ridiculous. I said, you know what? I know you and me, and there are men in your age group and my age group who have platforms, who have financial wherewithal, resources that can really make some stuff happen. But they just sit back like they're doing some real strategic shit. Now we're just gonna sit back, I'm gonna strike when they ain't paying attention. You don't strike at all.
Yeah. You're
Don't
right.
say nothing. You're scared to post something. I mean, man, where these dudes
Because
come from?
because it challenges, the comfortable narratives that they already have, built in their heads. Many people don't want to confront the fact that number one, the government's role in sabotaging Dr. King,
Yeah.
or the presence of informants in the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one thing that I absolutely hate. So I had a chance to meet uh, uh, Ernest Withers, his daughter.
Okay, the
My
photographer. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my son did a whole report on him. We got a chance to meet his granddaughter, Nataki Withers. She met us on a Sunday. We were able to go into the museum on Bill, and she
Yeah.
took us and showed us all kinds of stuff like that the average person don't get to
Mm-hmm.
see. And the way that they framed him when he was just documenting stuff, right? But they tried to paint him to be as some informant. When basically they just kind of cornered him up because he had intel, he had
Mm-hmm.
photos, which he was documenting, and they would say, "Hey, we need this information to tell us what's going on here, or snap pictures what's going on here." And he did that,
Mm-hmm.
but they tried to make it seem like he was an informant. And from what I
Mm-hmm.
gathered from just what I saw and from talking to his granddaughter and the stuff that she told me about her grandfather, I don't think that was the case. You know,
Okay.
I had a conversation with my aunt, and we were talking about, I was talking about my genealogy and the family tree and all that kind of stuff. And there are a lot of misspellings, there are a lot of misunderstandings, there were things that were mispronounced or misunderstood. And then you have to understand, when you dealing with people on the system of racism, white supremacy, you're dealing with Jim Crow, you're dealing with the civil rights movement. A lot of times when you go to make a correction to stuff, you don't necessarily want to buck the system.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if somebody come to you in 1950 saying that, hey, we want these documents, and you got a badge on to say that you the FBI, and they've
Yeah.
been kicking folks' teeth in, for the past 5 years, and they tell you this is what you're going to do. And yeah, we know where your kids live, we know where you live, we know your
I
wife.
get it.
Who's going to say?
Mm-hmm.
So
But
it takes a different kind of person to buck against it. But here's the thing that I really want to point out. You
okay.
mentioned something. You said that the people probably won't read those files. Number one, it's thousands of files. They ain't gonna do it. Just like they
Mm-hmm.
didn't read Project 2025,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
try to say, "Oh, it's so bad." You ain't gonna read none of the shit. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
But it forces people to rethink what they learned in school, and what they believed about U.S. history. So, like I said earlier, they're going to avoid it because it's going to knock their legs from up on them. It's almost like knocking religion from up on them. It goes against
Mm-hmm.
everything, and then they don't have anything left because they ain't read nothing. They ain't
Yeah.
had no conversations with nobody about nothing, so they have
Mm-hmm.
nothing left. So let me just stick to what I know. It's more comfortable.
Yeah. And we'll leave it up to those labeled militants to get in trouble on our behalf, or get booed
Yep.
or hissed, or get their lives. And I'm tired of that too. People know more than what you and I know, but they sit around comfortable and let us take all the hits while they still get to move on. And
Hmm.
I don't like it. I hate that goes on. But we got a lot of cowardly folks, who have way more resource and reach than I have, than you have, but they won't say anything. And
Yeah.
so, what you mad at people like us about? We don't respect you. You're a coward.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to get out there and throw your fists up in no rally, but damn. You know,
Hmm.
let let the people, let Jesus know, let Malcolm know, let our scholars know that not only are we with you, we gonna help you. These
Right.
Negroes don't do that. They sit around let. Man, don't get me started on that. It's the same nonsense. The same
Yeah,
nonsense.
it
Motherfuckers
is,
want,
man.
yeah,
But I'm
that.
glad we got a chance to talk about it tonight, man,
Oh man,
because
it's just crazy,
it's
bro.
been heavy on my mind, bro. Because I kind of had a little back and forth on the book today with one of my cousins. A couple times removed about it, but he don't really talk to me unless he got something crazy to say. So
Yeah, yeah, and all that kind of mess. They want to find it convenient to to put people in boxes who actually, the militants, labeled militants and all those folks, they actually giving their lives up for your sorry ass. We say stuff,
yeah,
well, I want to say it. I'm living proof of that. Man, you ought to say this because, man, what you said, man, it was, man, you tell the truth. I said, if
yeah.
so, hit the cash app,
Share the
goddamn it.
live.
Yeah, share the
Yeah.
live. Share the live. Subscribe. No, they just want to see you crash and burn. Then you say, you know what? Like a lot of people who are outspoken, who are legitimately from the ground outspoken, who don't get a chance to get invited on CNN and MSNBC to talk about white folks on white platforms,
Hmm.
how they do and make, like Al Sharpton make $480,000 talking about racism and white folks on a white platform. I say, ain't that something? But
Hmm.
the true truth speakers, they get booed and hissed and want to, hey, almost like, you
If
remember
they
the
could, they'll throw tomatoes at us.
throw tomatoes and, and
Hey, them sounds too high though.
yeah, they're like, no, this $5 for one motherfucking pulp. So let me keep that. Let me keep this. But you finna get this lettuce, goddammit. We don't eat that no way. And so it almost reminded me of like when Diane Carroll was on A Different World doing the wedding scene of Dwayne
Yeah,
and Whitley. When he
yeah.
came out and broke up the wedding, she was like, die, just die. That's how these motherfuckers do me. Just die. You making white folks mad. I got white friends. I got a white wife. I got mixed kids.
Yeah,
I agree with you saying, but in public, just die. I'm
yeah,
like, there's something wrong with these Negroes. But, not all, but it's a lot of people who are cool and supportive. But y'all know support is not just, hey, I support you, brother. No, this shit is economics.
yeah.
If we had given Malcolm X that support he deserved, I mean, black folks should have been sending that man hundreds and thousands of dollars. His daughters should not have wanted for anything
Hmm.
after his death. Dr. King, they ain't treat Dr. King. Black folks didn't treat Dr. King, corporate America's darling. They ain't, they ain't protect their family. Them folks had to sell his memorabilia. They sold his speeches. I think they even like sell his Bible and shit.
Which most of it is sitting in the airport in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they had to sell their man's stuff. I said, damn, black folks. And so when they wonder why people don't want to really stick their neck out, y'all don't support them. I know.
That's
When I think about that, I said, damn, I know Jesus on the cross is like, man, I'm damn it, these motherfuckers.
well, you gotta have some. You gotta have some
Oh,
crab legs and chicken wings and ranch and stuff.
man, and I just sometimes you make you feel like Moses. Moses went out to the burning bush. He went as a young man at 30 years old, came back looking 50.
They gonna wear you out.
He had the truth in his hand. He said, look, y'all, I'm finna go for 3 days. I'm gonna talk to this hot ass bush
Yeah.
about the law and shit and the rules and how to live. Then he come back, these motherfuckers shooting dice, chicks selling coochie to everybody in the village, motherfuckers doing backwards flips,
Them folks in
motherfuckers.
Egypt cutting up.
Yeah, they in there. He had left them in a little area, trying to move them out of Egypt. He had moved them out. So we gonna find a new place. But let me go over here. I need to go away for 3 days to get this information so I can bring you out. So when we sell into our new place, we'll have the laws and rules. He came back, man, had to sit through that shit, hair all white, man, the motherfucker. Like, man, that man held me a long time talking about this shit. So, but it's worth it though. These tablets heavy as hell, and I'm walking back, my sandals worn down and shit. Man, musty. I ain't just with the chance to take no bath. And I come back, these motherfuckers talking about some big it, woo, woo, big it, woo, woo, crooked, woo. Ain't no nigga no now. No pussy like this. Ain't no now, nigga. He's like, what the? That motherfucker selling coochie. The gay dudes up there, approaching all the straight men. And we want to get to know them, the angels and lots of
Yes, Hakeem.
yes, and they around there. He said, "What the hell's going on? Well, this lip, what the fuck this makeup come from? All this lipstick." He came by me. He said, "You know what? I done went through all this shit down and burned my eyebrows,
Yeah.
talking to the bush and getting heavy ass 20-pound blocks of whatever bricks, fucking
Stone.
stone to take you
Tablets.
around the
Yeah.
message." Then why he said, "Like, man, you know what? Fuck all this and fuck y'all, blues." I told him,
Yeah.
"Fuck
Yeah.
blues."
Brush should have just kept on walking.
He said, "Man, I ain't leading y'all nowhere. How about you bitches walk around for 40 years to find the path on your own? Fuck
On
y'all."
your own. He should have did that from the jump.
But he didn't know any better. Because, see, just like a lot of people who are labeled militant and all that, they come with a pure heart and a level of, they really want to do something right. And the people who are savage and cowardly, well, they're like, yeah, yeah, man, go on. And that is very heartbreaking. A lot of our scholars died
Mhm.
heartbroken. The freedom fighters, our people died or murdered broke. They were murdered angry, depressed, upset, disillusioned because they were fighting for us. And we sit
Yeah.
around here and we just said, well, another one down. Well, one is going to be the next one. And the one they get behind are those, those who've mastered the English language and very quaffed, or, yeah. And, we built this thing. We built this city and our people built it. And racism and racism. And racism and racism and white men and racism. Hold on. My wife is calling. Yes, Rebecca. I'm talking about racism. Yes, Rebecca. Okay. There's my wife. I told my baby girl Jasmine, and my son Jarrell. I told them I'll be there. Daddy loves you. But racism, the white man, and racism. I said, isn't that shit something? Then this is the
Yeah.
black chick. Yeah, they black women. Yeah, they racism. Black women, racism. Hold on a minute. Yes, Brad. I'm gonna be home. Mommy's gonna be home to cook dinner. Tell the children. Tell our son and our daughter.
Not the mulatto kid.
Yeah. Tell them I'll be home. Yes, Brad. Yes, darling. Are you be home? Yes, Brad. Hold on. I'm almost done, babe. Babe. I'm almost done. Okay. Racism. Black women. Black women. We always attack black women. Racism.
Right.
That's the Negro of the day that they push. Shout out to Van Jones and Abby Phillips and all these folks and Bakari Sellers and Charles
Man, you
Blow and
funny as hell.
shout out to all these folks. They think they're so black and letting only particular white folks have it.
Hmm.
Not all. So our scholars, we said Elijah Muhammad said the white man is the devil. He didn't say only particular ones. So with these Negroes that got white friends, I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about the other ones, the ones that's Republican, not the Democrats. Y'all ain't racist. Y'all ain't.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
yeah, everybody's making money off our ignorance. Blacks and others are making money off of blacks, off of black people's ignorance. But anyway, I digress, man. I appreciate you, bro. I ain't
Definitely.
gonna hold you.
Definitely, man. And yeah, man, I appreciate the conversation tonight. And I want to say one last thing. Probably the only way that we'll get that information to them is in little 5 minute snippets,
Yeah.
and break it down. That's the only way. It has to be simplified, and it has to be in digestible pieces for people. Because I mean, it's just like going to church every Sunday. You just need a little bit. You don't need all of it.
Well, I ain't got no instruments for them to start shouting, so
Yeah, I ain't got none of that either.
yeah. But be cool, man. Don't stay up too late. I'm gonna see if anybody else want to come on.
For
I'll be
sure, man.
I'll
It's a
be shocked.
pleasure, man.
Always, man. Be cool, bro.
All right, peace,
Catch
man.
you later. Peace. Okay. All right. There you go. Thank you, Dwayne, my man. If there's anybody else in here that would like to come on and talk to you, boy, I'll give you another minute. Y'all continue to like, share, and subscribe. Now, I should have told y'all this a long time ago when I started talking. But if you'd like to come on and talk to me about the title, Epstein Files versus the Dr. King Files, which one you want to see? Are you tripping because he brought them out now? I know it's a weird ass way trying to be slick. It's a deflection. It's a, what's it called? Yeah. Distraction. Yeah, that's what people are saying. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Or if there's anything else you want to talk about as it relates to this whole Epstein MLK. If you want to come in, hit that little button. Or if you want me to bring you in, I can bring you in. Or if you have a question you want to ask me, I'll answer a question. I'm in the mood right now. Okay, I sure can use a couple of them damn cookies out of, and I know Rico get thee behind me, Satan. Ugh. Y'all know they make those cookies fresh at 7-Eleven, and they got the oatmeals up there. I can really use a late night snack right about now. Mm. You know something I haven't had in a while? A good bag of sour cream potato chips. Damn. See all that kind of stuff when you're trying to do right. What's up, James? Welcome, man. I'm inviting people to come up. They want to talk about Epstein files versus the MLK files. Does it matter? Are you one of those that say, hey, he's just trying to distract us from the Epstein files? No, what do you think about it? You like to come on and talk? I got a minute. Or is there anything else you've been wanting to say? I've seen you a couple of times on my lives. You want to ask me? I'm in a good mood. I feel like talking and posing, answering questions. So come on in. And if there's anybody else, I got a minute. Come on in. Hit that. What's that? Request. Yeah, request to come on. I'll let you on. Because after a while, I'll be mainly exclusive to my YouTube channel, trying to drop up a few more videos for y'all on my Facebook page. So if there's no one else, I can go ahead. Y'all go ahead and no. If there's anybody else who want to come on, whoever's coming on, hey, y'all let some people know that I'm on. We're talking about this tonight. We're talking about the Epstein files, MLK files. If anyone wants to come on, go ahead and hit that request, and I'll let you on this beautiful night. And make sure you share this live. That helps out a lot too. More people see it, more folks want to come on and talk. But if not, hey, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I just want you to share. Just share this. Let some folks know that I'm on talking about it. I've given my introductory speech, but I want to hear what you have to say. If anybody want to come on, those of you who are coming into the room, if you'd like to come on and talk about or ask me a question you've always wanted to ask me, I don't mind. I got a minute. Please share this live. It's one of the cool ones. I'm going to try not to walk around so much because I think that makes people kind of dizzy. Can y'all still hear me? Yeah, yes, you can. I just got through off the damn thing. Got through talking with someone in the chat. So, anybody like to come on and talk? Anybody else? Well, okay. I appreciate you. And of course, I'll go run it again tomorrow evening, that goes in tonight. And I'll probably have something else to share with y'all. It's a lot of topics out here that I could talk about. So be cool. Like, share, subscribe, and come on over to my YouTube channel. It's all right. It's nice and in the wintertime, it's nice and warm, and in the summertime, it's nice and cool. I'll talk to y'all later, man. Rico the opinionist. And I'll talk to y'all in the future. Peace.